let me know if you can relate. I did the math, crunched the numbers. I made an album, one of a few albums that I made, and crunched the numbers for this album, and I spent probably about 100 hours working on this thing. That is like recording the bass, the guitar, the vocals, the writing, all of the recording, the mixing, listening to it, mixing again, blah, blah, blah. About 1 hour total. And I was excited. I thought it was good enough. And I tried to promote it as best I could via the social medias and published the album. And about 20 people listened to it. And I don't even think they listened to the whole album. I think probably less than 15 people listened to the entire thing. And that bummed me out. And I had to think about this, right? It was like, okay, why do I feel sad? Because I did feel sad for a bit. I had spent so much time and effort to create this. It would be like, imagine like spending 100 hours making a painting, and then you like put it out in the public, and people just walk by and like maybe look at it. If they look at it, they're like, and like show no signs that they even saw it. You have to ask yourself, like, okay, what was the point? Was that worth it? Or was that an entire waste of my time? What was the point of that? What was the point of doing anything at all? What's the point of doing anything at all, really? But for that, I had to ask myself, did I just do that for the hope for affirmation from others? Like, did I spend 100 hours doing something to get the reward of, great job, man, that sounds dope? Or like it's spreading, like blowing up, and you're like, I'm like the next Tame Impala, which I know is not going to happen. Did I do it for affirmation, or did I do it for the joy of doing it, the joy of the process? Could I, and this is like something to think about, could I record that entire album, 100 hours, and then when it's finished, just delete it permanently? The answer to that is no. I wouldn't want to. But it comes down to like, what was the purpose of doing that, and what's the purpose of doing anything? Obviously, it's the intrinsic and extrinsic rewards, right? The extrinsic reward of putting in that effort would be the affirmation, or like to see my numbers go up, or blah blah blah, like all those external things. The intrinsic reward should be more important. It should be what fuels us, and at least in this instance, the inner desire to do it for the joy of doing it. I do it because I want to do it. I don't care if anyone listens. I don't care if anyone. And I guess the question for you to think about is like, what in your life do you have, or do you do just for the joy of doing it? I wrote down in my today's thoughts note thing, seek joy, not affirmation. What do you do? What do we do for the joy of doing it? No one needs to know. There's no extrinsic like affirmation, and people say like, oh, that's cool. Like you don't have to tell anyone about it. You just do it because you want to do it. Is there I asked my students that today in psychology, because we're talking about motivation. And I asked, like, is there anything in your life that you just do for joy? That you're motivated to do for like entirely intrinsically motivated to do? And if not, do whatever you want in this life, right? But like, that's something to think about. What is something in your life that you are driven purely by joy? And let me know your thoughts. No one ever responds, but it's all good. The 100 hours, putting in 100 hours of work for no one to hear it. Let's just pretend no one heard it. Do you think it's worth it? Something to think about.